Good. Awesome. So I'm so glad you guys showed up. I'm glad that I'm not presenting this just to myself because I was actually, nervous about that. This being the first time that I have done an online presentation like this before. I know our little EFT sessions, a few people show up, so that's exciting. But the fact that you showed up today, you said yes to 60 minutes for yourself and for your brain to learn something new and to come in and relax a bit. And just so much of us spend so much time showing up for everybody and everything else that showing up for ourselves sometimes it almost starts to feel a bit wrong. So I genuinely want to thank you for being here. So as you can see, my name is Lisa, and in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to show you what is actually happening in your brain when your body decides to stop cooperating. And I'm going to give you some real practical tools to actually fix it. It's not going to be something that is, I'm going to tell you that you need to be more disciplined. It's not going to be another morning routine. It's going to be actual tools that work for your brain. And just before we get into it, I just want to know how many of you feel like you hit a wall between about 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. where your brain just like it stops cooperating. It just doesn't want to work anymore. That was always me. I would just get so much stuff done in the morning and then I would hit that afternoon and I would just be sitting there, have things to do, you know what needs to happen, but you just can't make yourself do it. And you open up your laptop, you start to look at your inbox, and you read the same email 3 times, and nothing sticks in your brain, just nothing goes in. Or you'll start a task, and then you'll switch to another, and then you switch to another, and then somehow you've been busy for 2 hours, but you haven't actually moved anything forward. And then you get a little voice that kicks in. You start thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just get on with it? I used to be so much better than this. And that was me again for years. I spent such a long time thinking that it was a discipline problem or a motivation problem or just a me problem, like, what was wrong with me? Until I started understanding what was actually going on in my body. So, oh, I forgot to skip my slide. Anyway, you cannot think clearly when your brain is not fueled and your nervous system is in overdrive. So it's not something that's harder to do or you need to try harder. Your brain just literally cannot do it. So today I want to show you what's actually happening and give you some tools to fix it. They're going to be simple, practical things that you can actually start using today. Because once you understand what's going on, you stop fighting and you stop fighting yourself and you can actually start working with your brain instead of against it. And trust me, everything just starts to get easier from there. So I promise this section isn't going to take up the whole entire workshop. I know that you've probably been on some before where they just ramble on for 2 hours all about themselves. So this is going to be super quick. So as you know, my name is Lisa, and I'm the founder of Fired Up Coaching and the Neurospicy CEO method. I help high-functioning ADHD and autistic women calm their nervous system so that they can think clearly, make better decisions, and actually enjoy running their businesses. And all these things that I've just kind of talked about, I have lived them. So it's not something that I just read in a book and decided to start teaching people. I started in the business world at about 21, with my first business being a small gas station and dairy or convenience store in a little town called Tinapai. Later on, we decided to add the rural post run to it before we moved back to the big city, where I became a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. Then we decided to do a full 180 and we bought a fast food restaurant right in the middle of COVID. So, in all honesty, we thought that the big, COVID thing was finished. It was like, I think what year was it even? 2020. So we were at the end of 2020 and we thought, COVID had done its thing. It was over. And so we bought this business. And then I ended up working 13-hour days. I gained 20 kilos and I was just running on caffeine and adrenaline, whatever snacks I could grab in between all the chaos. I ended up with psoriasis so bad on my hands that I had to wear gloves to do practically anything. I had to put coconut oil on my hands before I had a shower because water hurt. Ended up with severe depression, and the whole time I was still trying to build my coaching business from the background because it was the thing that I never really stopped wanting to do. After the restaurant, I also ended up helping run my husband's custom clothing business, which is what we still do now. And actually, I just had a thought that I better check and see if there's anybody else waiting. Sorry to interrupt. No, no one waiting. just had an awful panic like moment. I was like, oh, what is there somebody else waiting to come in? Because it's happened on our sessions before. Anywho, so after the restaurant, I helped with the clothing business, and I realized that the problem wasn't just stress. It was that my nervous system had never had the right tools, and nobody had actually told me that why my brain works the way that it did. So I self-identified as neurodivergent a few years ago. After lots of research for our sons, everything started to feel awfully familiar. So it wasn't really too hard to connect the dots. And suddenly, a decade of trying and crashing and rebuilding and trying again, it all started to make complete sense. So finding EFT and understanding my nervous system, it honestly it changed everything. And it's not because I got more disciplined about anything, but because I finally stopped fighting my brain and started working against it. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. What we're going to cover is first what's actually happening in your body. When your brain stops cooperating, because understanding it actually removes that self-blame immediately. The next thing we're going to cover is 5 practical tools that are going to be covering both nutrition and nervous system regulation and the things that you can actually start using today. And the next thing is an introduction to something called EFT tapping. Now, I know I'm pretty sure both of you have been in the sessions with me before, but we're going to go over it again anyway. And this is a nervous system regulation tool that most people haven't actually tried yet. And I'm going to tell you what it did for me, and then you are free to decide if you like it or not. So, here's the thing that nobody tells you when you start a business as a neurodivergent woman. This was never going to be straightforward for us. We content switch, oh, not that slide yet. We content switch constantly. We hyper focus on the wrong things all the time for 3 hours, and we just can't start anything at all. We make 100 micro decisions a day, and by 2 o'clock, our brain has just checked out. And it's not because we're lazy, it's because we've burned through our cognitive fuel twice as fast as everyone else. And nobody told us that that was even a thing. So, running a business is one of the most cognitively demanding things a human being can do. You're the CEO, you're the marketer, you're the accountant, you're the customer service person, you're the operations, you're the worker, you are all of it. And you're making decisions constantly. Not big ones, not tiny, not big decisions, sorry, just tiny ones all day long. So do you ever feel like your brain is just absolutely shot? It's like done by 3 o'clock or like mid-afternoon. Drink water. So every single decision that you make, it costs you cognitive energy. Those big decisions or small ones, they all come from the same tank. And for neurodivergent brains, that tank is often runs shallower and it often drains a lot faster. So by mid-afternoon, you're not just tired, you're depleted, you're dysregulated, and your body is probably running on empty too. And here's what that actually looks like for us specifically. Yeah, exhausted. Yeah, I get that. So you sit down to do the important things, and suddenly every other task feels more urgent. You start 3 things and you finish none of them. You open your inbox and you immediately you just want to shut it. And you know what needs to happen, but your body just won't cooperate. And then that little voice kicks in. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be consistent? Everyone else seems to manage this. Why can't I? And that was me for years. I spent a long time thinking that it was a discipline problem. I just needed to follow the tick boxes. I just needed to follow the routine. Or it was a motivation problem. I always thought that there was something wrong with me. And later on, I learned that it wasn't any of those things. And it's not for you either. So here's what's actually going on. First is blood sugar. So when you skip breakfast, you eat something sugary, or you go hours without food, your blood sugar crashes. And when your blood sugar crashes, your brain literally does not have the fuel it needs to function properly. So your concentration goes, your decision making gets worse, your mood drops, and your body does exactly what it's designed to do. It sends a distress signal, which is why you reach for the biscuits or the third coffee at 3 o'clock. Your body is trying to get fast fuel to an emergency that doesn't actually exist. So the next thing is your nervous system. So when your brain is under pressure, those deadlines, the decisions, the difficult clients, financial worry, it all activates your stress response. So cortisol gets released, your body goes into a kind of like a low-level threat mode. And in that state, the part of your brain responsible for clear thinking, creativity, and good decisions, it starts to go offline. And then your survival brain starts to take over. So that's why you can't think straight when you're stressed and you're running on empty. It's not a discipline problem. It's not a motivation problem. It's a fuel and nervous system problem. So and here's the part that really matters. The two things feed each other. Poor nutrition makes your nervous system harder to regulate, and a dysregulated nervous system makes you reach for those foods that actually make it worse. So as you can see on the slide, it's a loop. And once you know that, you can actually break it. And that's what we're going to do now. So now that we know this is actually happening, let's make it all practical. And I call this the 5-part reset system. There's 2 tools for when things go wrong in the moment, 2 tools to stop it happening in the first place, and 1 tool that works with both, which is the nutrition part. And then the bonus one, which we'll get into at the end, which or to help us to help stop the crash way before it starts. And you don't need all 6 things. Oh, there you go. Oh, look, I get a nice little pop-up when someone wants to join in. So there we go. So yeah, this is a 5-part reset system. And the bonus one that we're going to talk about at the end to help stop the crash before it starts. You don't need to do all 6 things. You just need 1 or 2 that you feel like are going to work for you. So the first one is a little bit odd, and I feel extremely weird teaching it to begin with, but it works. So it's called the psychological sigh. And you want to use this when you open your laptop, you feel that immediately like tight chilling feeling in your chest. You start feeling overwhelmed. So it's actually really good to use any time of the day, really. So before you try and push through anything that's triggering you, then you do this thing. So 2 short inhales through your nose and 1 long, slow exhale through your mouth. So you can try it now if you want. I know you're all muted and I think, or your cameras are off and stuff, so no one can see you. You can try it safely. And by doing that a couple of times, you're just telling yourself, your nervous system, that you're safe. And those 10 seconds have just like changed your mental state. They've just reduced your stress feeling. And then the next one is name it to tame it. So you use this when your brain is spiraling and everything feels like too much. Your immediate instinct is going to be to fix it, to analyze it, and to try and think your way out of it. And I'm going to tell you to not to do that. So just take a minute and name it out loud. So say the thing that you're feeling. I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, or whatever that feeling could be. And that's it. Because when you name it, you stop it bouncing around in your head and you give your brain something concrete to process. And research shows that labeling an emotion reduces its intensity in the brain almost immediately. So if you feel like sharing, you can. If not, then just keep it in your mind. But think about how your nervous system feels right now. It could be overwhelmed, you could feel relaxed, you could feel excited, just anything that your nervous system is feeling at the moment. Stressed. Well, we're going to get to an EFT session, so hopefully that will help with that. And then the next thing we have is feed your brain first. So use this all day, every day. This is the one that nobody talks about enough. Your brain is an organ, and like every other organ in your body, it needs fuel to work properly. So most business owners or people in general really are running their brain on fumes, skipping breakfast, grabbing something quick at lunch, reaching for sugar and coffee when they crash, and wondering why they can't think clearly. So let me explain what's actually happening with your blood sugar, because this is the piece that makes everything click. Your brain runs almost entirely on glucose. So when blood sugar is stable, your brain has consistent fuel and you can think clearly, you can focus, and you can make all those good decisions. And then when your blood sugar spikes and crashes, which happens every time you eat something sugary or you go too long without food, your brain goes into emergency mode. Your concentration drops, decision making gets worse, your mood tanks, and your body screams for fast energy, which is why you reach for the biscuits or the coffee or the energy drinks or chips or whatever you can get your hands on. So now I'm going to call you all out. Who here regularly skips breakfast or eats something quick and sugary in the morning? You can be honest, because I did this too, for years. So here's what your brain actually needs. It needs protein with every meal. The protein helps to slow down the release of glucose and it keeps your blood sugar stable. So your eggs, chicken, fish, Greek yogurt, nuts, legumes, healthy fats. Your brain is about 60% fat, so it literally needs fat to function. So it's avocado, olive oil, oily fish, nuts. Never skip breakfast. That's great to hear. I haven't skipped breakfast for a long time now. My favorite at the moment is actually scrambled eggs on protein toast. So, um, what's next? So the other thing is complex carbohydrates. So we're not talking about the white bread in your pasta, which they help to spike your blood sugar fast. We're talking about oats, sweet potato, brown rice, vegetables, all those slow release, consistent fuel. And then water. Even mild dehydration reduces cognitive function measurably. Most of us are mildly dehydrated most of the day. So I went ahead and got a nice big bucket, I call it. It's a 2 litre water bottle. And I fill it up at the beginning of the day. And my goal every day is to make sure I've actually finished that. So that's just one of the little things that I've done to try and make sure that I drink water. So now I want to tell you about the things that are working against your brain and some simple swaps. So the habit is you eat sugary cereal, or those you might have like a few pieces of just plain old white toast with whatever on it for breakfast. So what that's going to do is it's going to spike your blood sugar, and you're going to end up with brain fog by mid-morning. So a good swap, or even an add-on, is you can have your toast with eggs, or you can add some Greek yogurt, or you can have your sugary cereal as long as you add something else that's got high protein with it. Skipping meals, your blood sugar drops, your brain goes into that emergency mode, or like you said, you can get migraines. So I know this is a hard ask, but try and maximize your coffees to only two a day. And if you're going to have them, try and have them before noon because it takes a while for caffeine to actually go through your system. The next thing is ultra processed snacks. So they have that fast spike and then a steep crash. So the higher the sugar, the higher the crash. So swap your afternoon snacks for things like apples with peanut butter or something like that, hummus and veggies or mixed nuts. The other thing, as I said, is not enough water. So mild dehydration reduces your concentration heaps. So have a water bottle on your desk, a glass of water before every coffee. I've actually even got the big giant water cooler behind me, so I have no excuses in my office. All right, and then we have some foods that actually support your nervous system. So magnesium is one of the most important minerals for nervous system regulation and sleep. So it's your leafy greens, dark chocolate, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and there's actually like a ton of really good supplements out there now that you can have. If you want any extra help on what the right magnesium would be for you, just reach out and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Also have your omega-3 fatty acids. So these help to reduce inflammation and they support your brain function and your mood. So oily fish, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. You've also got fermented foods, and they really help with your gut health and your brain health. And they're both really deeply connected. A lot of people say that your gut is actually your second brain. So what happens in your gut is it affects your mood, your anxiety levels, and your cognitive, can't even say that word, cognitive function. So it's your yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut. And then you've also got your B vitamins, which are essential for energy production and nervous system function. So eggs, meat, fish, leafy greens, legumes. So the practical version of all this is eat protein with breakfast every day, even if it's just two boiled eggs, a little bit of Greek yogurt, or you can even get some really nice flavored protein yogurt now. So my favorite is the mixed berry one that we can get here. So don't go more than 3 hours without eating something real, unless you're intentionally doing like intermittent fasting or something like that. If it's intentional, then that's fine, but don't try not to skip meals if that's not what you're actually planning on doing. Try and have a glass of water or even half a glass of water before your coffee. It'll just help to level out that spike a little bit. And then try and swap your 3 p.m. sugary snacks for something with a bit more protein and healthy fats. And you're definitely going to notice the difference. Some people will notice it that same day. Some people will notice one in a couple of days or a week. And it's not because you're doing some dramatic diet overhaul and restricting yourself on all these things. It's because your brain finally is going to have the fuel it needs to do what you're asking it to do. So what do you feel like one swap could be that you could actually do this week? I'd love to know what you all think. So the next tool is to reduce the load. So we want to use this when your brain is feeling a bit heavy. Not skip meals, I love that. Which meal do you feel like you skip the most? And if you don't want to answer, that's fine too. Um, breakfast, yeah. If what's an easy thing? Like if you like protein shakes, then that's a good one to start with. Um, at one point, I started making I called them a mocha protein shake. So I would just tip my coffee straight into the protein powder, and I would turn it into a mocha coffee protein shake because I love my mochas. So it felt like a kind of a treat, but it was healthy at the same time. Okay, so reduce the load. I want to be completely honest about something here. You have probably heard the advice to batch your tasks. Do all your emails in one block. Schedule all your content in one sitting. Make decisions in dedicated windows. And if you have an ADHD brain or a brain that's been running on empty, you know exactly how that goes. It sounds really great on Sunday, but it's going to completely fall apart by Tuesday. So because our brains don't cooperate with a schedule like that, we can't just decide to focus on emails for 45 minutes. That's just not how it works. So instead of batching, what we do is we reduce. So here's the thing that actually works. Well, this is what's worked for me anyway. First thing is to remove the recurring decisions wherever possible. The goal is to pre-decide things once so that your brain is not burning energy on them every single day. Try and meal plan on the weekend. So what you're going to have for dinner isn't going to be a daily question. Pre-decide your one most important task the night before so you wake up already knowing what to do. And this is actually a really good hack because I think I read somewhere to list out 3 most important things that you want to do the next day. And while you're sleeping, while you're kind of, your subconscious is going through and it's kind of starting to already process these things that you want to do the next day. And a lot of the time you're going to wake up and you're going to just have some brilliant, amazing ideas, or the task that you felt hard yesterday is just going to be so much easier the next day because your brain's had some time to process it. The other thing you can do is have a default morning sequence. So kind of like a routine, but just some things that you know that you need to do first every single morning so that you're not waking up wondering what you need to do. The next thing is the 2-minute rule. And this one works really well for ADHD brains. If a decision or task will take less than 2 minutes, just do it now and close the loop. I know our brains want to fight it. I do it every single day still. Pardon me. But just if you can, do the task, close the loop. Trust me, you'll feel so much better. Because it's not actually the doing of the task that drains us. It's the mental weight of having that thing unfinished, sitting in the back of our brain, taking up space. So every open loop, it actually costs us energy. So try and close as many of them immediately. And the next thing is one thing at a time. So not a big batch of things, not a big list, just one thing. Ask yourself, what is the single most important thing right now? And do that. When it's done, ask yourself again. And this probably sounds too simple, but for a brain that's already overwhelmed, it's the difference between moving forwards and spinning around in circles. So you're not managing tasks, you're managing your cognitive load, and every decision you can pre-make or eliminate is energy that's saved for work that actually matters. So if you want to share, what do you think is one recurring decision that you could pre-decide so you don't have to think about it again? One of my things at the moment is I will go through my fridge and my freezer and I will talk into ChatGPT or Claude and I'll just tell it, I'm like, okay, so these are all the things that I have in my fridge this week. These are all the fresh ingredients, all the meat. And obviously I have lots of stuff in the pantry, but I don't bother telling it that. And I'm like, help me plan out my meals for the week. And it'll spit out a list of things. And I've also already told it that we're like such a fussy family. So it gives out some really good recipes and ideas. And then all I have to do is have a look at that and dinner is done. Yeah, it was my favorite thing. Um, Something else that you could do is decide what you're going to wear. I have gone super basic with my clothes. Like you'll see me showing up in my pink hoodie like so much because I think I have like maybe 3 or 4 hoodies that I kind of cycle through. All my t-shirts are black, which I really should maybe find some colors to wear, but maybe we'll get there one day. I am one of those tights people, so I have like 20,000 pairs of black tights. So getting dressed is something that I don't really need to think about. It's just grab the things and wear it. Meal planning sounds great. Yeah, I might actually put some prompts into the school group about how I created my little Claude meal planner, I suppose you could call it. I've also, a side note, I've also created a Claude, what do you want to call it? Like a version of MyFitnessPal because I hated having to go into MyFitnessPal every day and try and find all the ingredients. So all I've been doing over the last week is going into my claw thing. I gave it a really good prompt to help me keep on track. And I just tell it everything that I'm eating. I'll take pictures of the labels and put it in there so it already knows everything. And then it tells me throughout the day what my calorie targets are, if I'm on track for my goals and all that. It just, such a lifesaver. So yeah, bonus tool. All right, what did I actually get up to on this one? So yeah, this one sounds too simple. So when you're stressed, your body, um, no, I didn't actually read that. Sorry, looking at my notes. Um, Next slide, move first. So you want to use this when you're feeling wired, not wild, restless, stuck, and sitting still is actually going to make you feel worse. So this is another one that sounds simple, but it is probably another one of the most powerful things on the list, especially when you pair it with what we covered about nutrition. So when you're stressed, your body has physically mobilized energy for action. Your cortisol is up, your muscles are primed, your heart rate is slightly elevated, and your body is ready to run or fight something. And then you sit at your desk and you try and calm down. Now, it's just not going to work because your body has not discharged the energy that is prepared. So sitting still and trying to relax after stress is like pressing the accelerator and the brake at the same time. And having that movement, you're going to discharge it. You're actually going to get rid of that energy. So even a 10-minute walk around the block, a few minutes of stretching, shake out your arms, have a little bounce in your chair, like anything that's going to kind of get the energy moving and out of your body. And then try and relax. So once you've done a bit of movement, even a couple of laps around the office, just you'll notice how much easier it actually is to relax. And then we also have to connect in the nutrition because this part, even though I'd done all the courses and all the things, this part surprised me when I learned it and I actually did it. A little 10-minute walk after eating, it measurably reduces your blood sugar, the blood sugar spike from your meal. So you avoid that post-lunch slump or you avoid feeling sluggish and everything after dinner. Or that slump that normally hits you around at 2 o'clock. And then everything else in the rest of your workday just ends up feeling impossible. So just by moving your body for 5 to 10 minutes after you eat, you're going to regulate your blood sugar and your nervous system at the same time. So 10 minutes or even 5 minutes is going to be 0 minutes every single time. It doesn't have to be a full-on gym session. You don't need a sweat or anything like that. You don't have to schedule it. Just even walk backwards and forwards to the bathroom a couple of times. Like just move before you relax. So how many of you have tried to wind down the evening by sitting on a couch and your brain just keeps going round and round in circles and just everything from the day just keeps playing over in your mind? That is your body still carrying the stress and the energy from the day. Yep, me. Yep. So a short walk before you try and switch off, it's really going to make a big difference. You could, if you don't like leaving the house, like I'm slowly starting to build up my little home gym. So I've got a treadmill and a stationary bike. So even just 5 minutes on one of those, so just try and make it as easy as possible for yourself. You don't even need to leave the house that way. I mean, a side note, sunlight is good. So maybe a couple of times a week, try and leave the house. Right, so the next thing is just pick one thing. So out of all these that I've just talked about, just try and pick one thing that you feel like you're going to be able to do. The one that you thought, yeah, I might actually be able to do that. That's your only action for this week. So those 5 tools, including the nutrition piece, are practical and they are going to work. But I want to show you that one more thing, something that works on the nervous system at a deeper level, something that I was really skeptical about until I saw and actually felt what it did. And it's called EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique, also known as tapping. And once I heard about it, before I'd actually done it, I thought it was weird because how can tapping on your face and different parts of your body stop you from being stressed? So EFT is a way of working directly with your nervous system. So by tapping on these specific acupressure points on your face and body, while you're bringing the feelings or the stress to mind and speaking it out loud. So instead of trying to think your way out of stress, you're actually working with it physically. It combines acupressure from traditional Chinese medicine with modern psychology, and the combination sends a direct calming signal to your brain, to your amygdala, which is the alarm center of your brain. And you're telling your nervous system that this feeling is safe to process, and we don't need to stay on high alert. So, oh, sorry, I was supposed to skip to this slide before. So that's what I just explained. And then we have all the different tapping points. So the first one we start off with is the karate chop, which is the fleshy side on your palm. And this is your setup statement. So while we're tapping on this part, we're naming the problem and we're telling ourselves that we accept ourselves anyway. And then we move on to our eyebrow, which is just like where our eyebrow kind of meets our nose. So there's no like right or wrong point or part of the area. The pressure points are so tiny and there's hundreds of them in that area. So it doesn't matter if you're like slightly above or slightly below, like as long as you're in that general area, it's going to be fine. And you can tap with one hand, two hands, whatever feels comfortable to you. So on the inner eyebrow, this part here is releasing the trauma, the frustration, and the restlessness. And then on the side of our eye, so kind of roughly where our temples are, this part is releasing the rage and the fear and the resentment. And then we have the bone directly underneath our eye. So this is releasing all the anxiety and the fear and the nervousness. Then under our nose, this part is releasing embarrassment, shame, and grief. On our chin, again, we have shame, confusion, and uncertainty. And then on our collarbone, so that's just, where your bone is on your chest. This part here is releasing fear and nervousness, which is often the most powerful point. So sometimes we will probably spend a little bit longer on this point because it just really helps to release all that fear and nervousness. And then under our arm, so for ladies, it's probably roughly where your bra strap would go. For guys, it's probably like about 3 or 4 fingers down. Again, it's not a big deal, just wherever you can reach because it's kind of awkward. And this one is going to help to release anxiety, worry, and help your flow self-esteem. And then the last one is we move to the crown or the top of the head, near the hairline, or I have my hair tied up, so it's just wherever feels comfortable for you. There's no rules on the exact tapping point. You don't even have to do it in the sequence. Like if there's another sequence that you feel is more comfortable or flows better for you, then you can adapt it to fit any way that you need. So here's the part that surprises a lot of people when we do EFT. When we start a session, we don't begin with positive affirmations. We don't say, I am calm or everything is fine. We actually start with exactly what is true right now, even in this moment, even if it's difficult. And here's why. Your nervous system can't be tricked. And if you're anything like me, you have tried. You have tried everything to trick it. If you're sitting there feeling overwhelmed and anxious and you say, I am calm, I'm fine, I'm happy, your nervous system knows it's not true. And that internal conflict, it actually keeps the stress locked in further. So EFT works a bit differently. We start by fully acknowledging what is actually there. So we start by saying, even though I feel completely overwhelmed right now, even though I'm anxious about money right now, or even though I feel like I'm failing, and then, crucially, we add acceptance. I deeply and completely accept myself. That combination, the honesty about the feeling plus the self-acceptance, is what allows the nervous system to finally release it. And you're not suppressing the feeling, you're honoring it. And then you can shift it. So then as you work through the tapping points, you gradually shift the language. And we go from all this overwhelm, all this tightness in my chest to I am open to feeling calmer. I am choosing to release this. I am safe right now. And you can't skip the negative and go straight to the positive. You have to honor what is true before you can actually shift it. So I want to tell you a little bit about what EFT actually did for me. I was having full-on panic attacks, pressing t-shirts in my husband's business. Not metaphorically, it was actually happening every single time. And trust me, I felt ridiculous when it happened because I was like, why is this simple task just driving me insane? But my nervous system had taken in so much. The restaurant, the amount of debt that we were in, the years of running on empty all the time, and the trauma from my childhood. It was treating all these things as, it was treating this completely normal task, like it was a genuine emergency. And then I decided to give EFT a go. I was very, very skeptical. I was like, yeah, I've done meditation for like 2 years now and that hasn't helped. So how's this thing going to help? I didn't even really tap on anything to do with the t-shirt business or the t-shirt press and things like that. I was just tapping on general nervous system stress and all that kind of thing. And then the next time I had to press the t-shirts, there was nothing. Like I did feel maybe a little bit I don't want to say panicked because it wasn't really the feeling, but I did feel like something. It just wasn't the feeling that I was used to. So I didn't spiral. I just almost felt normal, or whatever normal means. And my nervous system had updated its threat response. And it wasn't because I decided one day to toughen up, but it was because I gave it the signal that I was safe and I was safe to let go. So I don't know how many of you have actually tried meditation for stress and found that your brain just refuses to cooperate. Like you'll sit there for a couple of minutes, and even guided meditations I found at the start, I would try and do them, and I would be hearing all the things in the background, but my brain was already like, what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to do for dinner? The kids have to get ready for school. Like I was trying to meditate, but it just wasn't working. And this is one of the most common things that I hear. Meditation asks you to sit still and quiet your mind. I do, but very seldom am I able to manage it. Yeah, yeah. It can be quite tricky. I started off, just backtrack for a sec. I started off, excuse me, meditating for like 30 seconds because that's as long as my brain could kind of deal with. Any longer than that, and I would start to, wander off on God knows what, everything else. I wish I couldn't do any of that. I was too burnt out. Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully the EFT sessions are helping to release a bit of that. Now, where did I get to my notes? For a busy brain that's processing everything all at once, asking your brain to slow down and be quiet is one of the hardest things that you can ask it to do. And EFT is different because it's keeping your hands busy. It's keeping your mouth busy because you're speaking, and your brain is engaged following along with the sequence. So you don't really give your mind and your brain and everything a chance to spiral into the anxiety because you're too busy doing the things. So if you haven't done this before, I'm not asking you to believe in it and, telling you that this is the only thing that works because there are so many tools out there and different things work for different people. But I would love to take you all through a guided session right now. And this one is just going to be a bit more general because this is the recording that's going up to the group. So lots more people are going to watch it. I've tried to keep it general on what have I got? Overwhelm, wide but tired feeling, and a bit of anxiety. So let's have a drink. So get all comfy in your chair, or if you're laying down. If you're watching this on the recording or listening to it on the recording and you're driving, please wait till you're finished before you decide to fully concentrate on this. We don't want to be causing any accidents. There you go, make sure I'm on the right slide. So just get all comfy in your chair or in your bed or wherever you are. Let your body relax. Take a nice deep breath in and release. Let your shoulders drop, following along with the exhale. And then I want you to bring to mind whatever is sitting heaviest right now, whatever's feeling the heaviest. It might be pressure of everything on your to-do list. It might be that wired but tired feeling that you feel like you're carrying at the end of the day. It might be that quiet voice that's lingering, saying that you should be doing more or getting further along. You should be further along in your business than what you are. It might be anxiety before you show up somewhere, or about posting something, presenting something, putting yourself out there. Like I definitely felt a bit anxious before this, I have to admit. Whatever it is, just let it be present. You don't have to try and fix it right now. Just bring it to mind and notice it. And then try and give it a number if you can. You don't have to share it in the chat if you don't want to, but of course you're completely welcome to if you'd like to. The number 0 is nothing, so calm, content, nothing feels wrong. And then 10 is you feel completely overwhelmed, like your brain is just going to explode out of your head. So just take a minute to notice the number. And then oh, voice doesn't want to work. And then we're going to get started on the karate chop point. So I'm going to just gently tap. Doesn't need to be hard. And you can repeat after me out loud. You're all on mute, so no one can hear you. No one can see you, so you're all safe. Repeat after me out loud or in your head, whatever feels better for you. Even though I feel this weight, this pressure, and this exhaustion, this feeling that I'm not doing enough, I deeply and completely accept myself. And again, even though my brain will not switch off, even though I am tired of feeling this way, I deeply and completely accept myself. And last one, even though I have been running on empty and I'm not sure how to stop, I deeply and completely accept myself. And now we're just going to tap through the points. I'll say the phrase for each one. You can adjust the words if something feels better for you. Just remember that tapping is doing all the work. So move to the eyebrow. All this pressure. Side of the eye. All this weight that I'm carrying. Under the eye. This feeling that I'm never doing enough. Under the nose. All this exhaustion. On our chin. This wired, tired feeling that will not go away. On our chest. All this anxiety about what I have not done yet. Under our arm. This pressure I put on myself. Top of our head. All of this. Everything I'm carrying right now. And then back to our eyebrows. Even though I feel this pressure, I'm open to letting some of it go. Side of our eye. Even though I'm exhausted, I am open to feeling a little lighter. Under the eye. Maybe I do not have to carry all of this right now. Under the nose. Maybe doing my best is actually enough. On our chin. I am allowed to slow down. On our chest. My nervous system is allowed to rest. Under our arm. I do not have to figure everything out right now. Top of our head. I'm open to feeling calmer. Even just a little calmer than a moment ago. Move back to our eyebrows. I'm choosing to release what I do not need to carry right now. Side of the eye. I'm allowed to feel calm and still make progress. Under the eye. I trust myself to know what matters most right now. under our nose. I am safe. I'm okay. This moment is manageable. I know, Chin. My brain works better when I'm not running on threat mode. I know, chest. I am fueling my body. I am regulating my nervous system. I am doing the work. Under our arm, I give myself permission to show up fully without running on empty. Top of our head, I am calm. I am clear. I am enough. You stop tapping when you're ready. Just sit with that feeling for a moment. Nice, slow, deep breath in and out. And then take a minute to have a think about what number you're at now. If you started at a 7 and you're now at a 4, then that's real movement. And under 10 minutes, you've managed to reduce your overwhelmed feeling or stressed. If you've managed to get down to a 2 or a 0, then that's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. And you've given it the right signal. And if nothing's shifted yet either, that's fine too. Sometimes a shift happens in the hour after the session or like even a couple of days later when your nervous system is processing. 8 to a 4, that's amazing. So what you just did, it's not woo-woo or magic or anything like that. It can kind of feel like it sometimes. But it's your nervous system receiving a signal that it is safe. And it is safe to come out of threat mode. 3, feel more relaxed and can't even though you can't explain it. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird, but it works and it's the best. So I just want the whole world to know about EFT and give it a go. As I said, it feels weird when you do it, but it's just amazing how much it works. So you can do these anytime. I've actually got some YouTube videos, which I might link in the school group as well. They're from when I first started doing this, so I don't like to share them because I feel like they're a bit embarrassing, but they help people, so I'll get over it. So you can do the tapping before you open your laptop in the morning, before you get out of bed, after you've had a hard conversation or before you need to have one. When that 3 p.m. wall hits and you don't know what to do. When your brain doesn't want to switch off. Yeah, I think I've got all the YouTube videos hidden, but I'll make them public. I've got them so that I can share them with people, so only the person who has the link can view them, but I'll change it and make it public. And yeah, so this is what regulating your nervous system looks like. We're not meditating for 20 minutes or 2 hours or anything like that. It's not some sort of big old wellness routine. It's just 5 to 10 minutes, your hands, your voice, and the signal that you're safe. So, time to wrap things up. So what has happened in the last 50 minutes? You came in here, you were probably running on fumes, probably with that familiar tight feeling in your chest or your body. And we covered why your brain keeps crashing, given you 5 tools that you can use today. And we just tapped together and you actually felt the shift. And that is real. Like it's not some sort of magical powder that we're trying to sprinkle everywhere and pretend it's working. But here's what I also know, because I've lived it for, I didn't want to age myself, but over a decade, a couple of decades probably. knowing the tools and actually building the habit of using them when your nervous system is screaming at you are 2 completely different things. And I know because I bought the programs, I learned all the strategies, I understood the science because I did the personal training and nutrition stuff, but I still kept crashing because knowing something and being able to access it when you're dysregulated are not the same thing. So that's the gap between knowing and doing. It's exactly why I built my program. So I know that if you just joined for the free stuff and you're not interested in joining a paid program or anything like that, then you are more than welcome to finish up and leave right now. I am going to do some Q&A after this little part, but I don't want you to feel like I just brought you on here to pitch you something at the end. I am putting a program together, which is just for a small group of people. But yeah, as I said, if you don't want to know what it is and you're just here for the free stuff, that is completely fine. I'll send out the link for next week's EFT session shortly once I get all my emails and everything back up to scratch because I made a big mess of them this morning. Um, uh, yeah, so that is that. So yeah, my reset program. Maybe I have. You're very welcome, Terry. I might have mixed up my slides a bit at the end here. So next steps at the moment is to pick one thing and try it today. So even if it's protein with your breakfast, even just one psychological sigh before you open your laptop, just one thing. The next thing is you can join the Neurospicy Collective. So that is my school group. The link I dropped in the chat before. I'll also email it all out. I'm pretty sure it's in the bottom of your emails, but I'm going to recap everything and send it all out to you all anyway. And then the next thing is coming to the reset. So the reset is a live group coaching program for high functioning ADHD and autistic women who are done with the crash cycle. It's not a course that you buy and you never finish. It's not a group where you post into the void. It's 6 weeks of live sessions, nervous system regulation, EFT, business strategy, and it's all built specifically for brains like yours. What we're going to cover. Have I got that on another slide? Hey, there we go. We'll bring that up. So what we're going to cover in weeks 1 and 2, we're going to go deep on the nervous system. You're going to understand exactly what's been driving your crash cycles. You're going to have personalized regulation toolkit that fits your brain, your life, and your business. Week 3 and 4, we're going to build the EFT practice. So it's not just tapping for anxiety, it's tapping for avoidance, for money blocks, fear of visibility, and the stories that you've been telling yourself about why this won't work for you. Weeks 5 and 6, we are going to put it all together with business strategy actually built for neurodivergent brains. How to structure your week around your energy, how to sell from a regulated nervous system instead of a panicked one, and how to start building from scratch and start actually compounding and build a business that you love. So it's going to be 6 weeks live, real support built for your brain. The investment is $497 US. There's only 10 spots because I want to keep it small. I want to actually help the people that are in there. I'm not trying to sell some like $20,000 program and then just have all these people in there that I don't even know who they are. Like I want to be able to come in every day and actually help you in between all our live calls. So that's why I keep it small on purpose, because the people who need this most are the ones who have bought programs before and they've just been a number. They've asked questions and they've got nothing back. They've bought something and they feel like they're completely invisible, like they just don't even exist. The person has the money in their bank account and they're not even helping you. And that is definitely not what this is going to be. So in the reset, you're going to be seen, you're going to be supported, and you will not be doing this alone. So I know that some of you are already probably thinking that you've tried these things and you've crashed before anyway, or they just haven't worked for you. And me too. So that's the difference that and most things that you've probably done, they were strategy layered on top of a dysregulated nervous system. Now I can't speak. So it's like you're trying to run software on a computer that's overheating, or you're trying to run a Android app on an Apple or something like that. What we're going to do is we're going to fix the overheating first. We're going to sort your nervous system out first. And then after that, we will start building the rest of it out. Another thing that a lot of people tell me is that they don't have time to do anything extra. Like you guys committed, you spent an hour here with me now. And these sessions that are going to be in the reset, they're going to be short, just like our weekly EFT sessions. They're going to be designed for brains that can't sustain the long-term commitments. We're not going to be doing like 2-hour calls every day or anything ridiculous like that. It's going to be something that you can come on, you can join, you can learn something, you can regulate your nervous system, and then you can go off and enjoy your day. So another thing that I got asked is, what if I regulate and I lose my drive? So your drive is not adrenaline, it's ambition, and regulation doesn't remove ambition. It just stops ambition from burning your house down, kind of thing. So do I have any other slides? Oh, I doubled that one up. Okay. So if the reset feels like it's for you, if it's something in your body just said yes to this, then send me a message. You might actually need to reply to emails. I'm still blocked on Messenger at the moment until the 9th of May. And then I will start replying to everybody's emails. I mean, messages. So yeah, if you're interested, just send me a message or email, and we're not going to go on a sales call. Like, I'm not going to try and trick you into buying anything. If you can't afford the 497 up front, then I'm more than happy to work out some payment plans. And if you're not interested in joining, that's fine too. We're going to carry on doing the weekly EFT sessions. I might just change the time slightly because I'm finding that 6 o'clock clashes with another program that I'm in. Ah, no worries. I'm glad you loved it. um, yeah, so you can join either my Facebook group or my school group. I'm going to start slowly transitioning everything over to school because Facebook has just been a bit too wonky. I said I'm blocked from sending DMs. It won't let you comment sometimes, and just all their rules and stuff is starting to drive me nuts. All right, so we went through the 5 tools. If you'd like to answer any of these questions, you're more than welcome to. If you have any questions for me, you can drop them in the chat, or if you're comfortable coming on camera, you can unmute and we can have a chat. What else have I got? Yeah, group reflection. A few things to remember. So it's all fixable. You can just do one little tiny swap and stay curious about EFT and all the other tools that are out there. Try them all out, see what works for you. And yeah, just remember that your brain is not broken. Your body's not failing you. It may feel like it sometimes, but I promise it's not. You just haven't had the right information about what you actually need. And you have something amazing to try. So yeah, I will send out an email as soon as this is up in the school group. We just have to wait for Zoom to render it or whatever it does in the back end. And then I'll get those next invites for next week's EFT session out. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I really had a lot of fun reteaching this after my networking training the other week. If no one has any questions, we will log off and I'll hopefully see you next week. Cool. Thanks. Bye. How do I actually stop share? See you later.